and this servant have unfinished blood between you. Fight, not with the desperation of the condemned, but with the fury of one who finally remembers what was taken from them. Tear your way free.
Today is episode 20, and that means it is World Download Day, where if you're a supporter of any tier, whether that is on Patreon, here as a YouTube member, through the Discord, or even as a Twitch supporter, you gain access to these world downloads, which you can download over on the Discord from within the World Downloads channel once you get everything linked up. And in doing so, you'll be able to explore everything that I have created in this world thus far, allowing you to test out all of the little things that I have dabbled in throughout my playtime. And so, thanks to all who do choose to support the content I make, and well, let's get on with today's video. Now, where we last left off, I had made the final ingredient to being able to summon Skoll and Hati. To summon the twins, we needed chromatic compound, we also needed Gaia nuggets, and we needed awaken supremium essence, in which we now all have. And I think overall this is going to be a pretty tough fight if we do not prepare. And so we should take a look at the gear recommendations for this boss battle. It mentions the pufferfish skills, which we've definitely leveled up, and I think I've min-maxed those. And then we also have the bobbly heart canisters, which at the moment I have not really dabbled in, even though it would definitely boost my overall health pool. But remember, we also ended up getting a relic from Britannia, which also buffed our health a little bit. So we are still setting well over the normal amount of hearts. Then it also mentions maybe having Terra Steel armor, which currently I'm not in, but it is pretty nice. And our regeneration is actually coming from our Project E stone. Some other things it recommends is potentially making the Draconic chess piece, which we could definitely do also. I want to see if we can get through without any of this stuff to kind of see where our current gear stands. Something I would like to make though is Mjolnir, which I think would be a pretty cool S tier weapon. Now, as far as the fighting mechanics go, this is where things get interesting. Each of them have 400 health. They have phases that are based upon the conditions of each of each other's health. And it does say killing one of the wolves enrages the others. And it says the surviving wolf gains massive buffs, so the best thing is to damage them evenly and kill them close together. Now, Skoll is going to be fire and sun related, an aggressive attacker and uses fire magic, whereas Hati is the shadow and moon, tactical support, and darkness magic. So the enrage mechanic, by the way, surviving wolf fully heals, by the way, gains 50% damage increase, gains damage resistance, and becomes much more aggressive. Now, devastating abilities unlocked. New devastating abilities unlocked. That also does not sound like a good idea. So the idea here is to possibly get them together. But one of them does darkness. And this is something that's important because if we get affected with blindness or darkness in that regard, I would love a way to potentially make that go away. This is where we might have an advantage. Advantage of using, well, magic against magic. What magic, you may be wondering? Well, the magic of Ars Nouveau. If I click on here and I search up Dispel, this gives us the ability to remove negative effects that are on us, or technically remove all effects that are on us. We are going to need milk buckets and a abjuration essence. So one abjuration essence, and then as soon as we have this, we have the ability to technically dispel effects on us as soon as we learn it. But now I may want the ability to dash around by using my spellbook. So I actually don't want this spell to just be something that's castable from the spellbook. I want it to be castable from an item. So we shall craft the Enchanter's Mirror. This is going to require a special kind of essence, but we can make essences quite quickly by utilizing this right here. You can see this is going up. So if we use the Watch of Flowing Time, we can accelerate this quite a bit without the need of having any source, which is pretty cool. And so I'm just going to make 2 of these because that's all we need at the moment. So all of the ingredients need to be placed in here on an enchanting apparatus. And then we place in our 1 source block. And this is going to create a tool that we can inscribe spells onto. And this has the form already self, which will apply it to us when clicked, which is pretty cool. So now we have a tool that we can do that to, and we get discounts on it, which is very nice. So back in our spell book, all we have to do is find a blank area, and we get to completely skip the self and just simply cast onto ourself Dispel. And we can even name this. I'm going to call this spell Clear Effects. So now I place this onto the table, and with my spellbook and that effect applied, we can shift right click, and that has now been bound to the enchanter's mirror. And you can see the effect is going to be self and dispel. And when we right click, that effect is applied. So if we get hit with darkness or anything like that, we can just simply right click this item and then bam, the effect is gone. Now, about crafting Mjolnir. In order to do this successfully, of course, we're going to need a very specific ring. We need the Ring of Thor. So before I even go about crafting Mjolnir, I am going to need to take on the Gaia a few more times in its main form, which we should be able to do with no problem. Because I've already fought it a few times, we should be able to get every single relic here. So back to fighting this boss again, myself, and down goes another one. Also, by the way, each time we do this, this is how we re-get the rune tablet. This is the only way, I think, to be able to get this thing. And also this round, we ended up getting the Pinkinator, which allows us to make a Wither passive and become a friend. All right, so that's one more times we've taken it out. So what did the Dice of Fate give us? This time we did get the Ring of Thor. Yes, and that is beautiful. You know, I think it might be time for us to get rid of our brooch, and this is going to remove our different runes, but gives us another ring slot, so that way we can now have the Ring of Thor and the Ring of Odin equipped, and keep all of our other rings. Now, typically the Ring of Thor here would only really increase our Terra Shatterer's area of effect, which means we can mine in a much bigger area. But this should allow us to wield Mjolnir. Now for the crafting. Yes, we need all of our ritual holders here, the rune holders, and they need to be set up in this particular pattern, which it does explain right here, even tells you the coordinates relative to the center pedestal. So all you have to do is go over 2 blocks. You can see here, go to the left 2 blocks, and then eventually you will get a pattern that looks very similar to this. Then I just need to take a look at this and slowly but surely start placing in all of my runes. Last rune in the list is going to be the Jotunheim, and then all we have to do is place down the tablet here, and just like the other ones, we toss down the items that are required. Red string requiring the end, the pasture seed, and a tiny planet. And then we click this with our wand of the forest. All of this is going to combine together, and we should get Mjolnir. Oh my goodness. And it drops all of the runes too, which is so nice. And then we have Mjolnir just sitting here. And so we must be worthy. Now, here is something that I want to try. If we take the Ring of Thor off, we don't have it equipped, and we right click, this hammer weighs way too much for you to lift it. However, it is told that the gods, golden apples, what? So they ate golden apples to be able to gain the power to do this. But what if we just have this ring equipped? The Ring of Thor. Yes, we can actually wield it. And look at that, by the way. And it comes back to us, and it has a 30 damage hit, by the way, by default, which is just ridiculous. Now, you can also punch things with it, and yes, it doesn't deal, I mean, it deals quite a bit. We're dealing 44 base damage with it, and then if we throw it, oh my goodness, it strikes them with lightning also, which is just, it's ridiculous. On top of all of that, we should also be able to enchant this, and there's hammer mobility, which I do want off of this, and so all I have to do is drop a few books down and drop an anvil on them, and we should be able to strip this off to hopefully get to the highest level of the mobility. And then we probably also want loyalty 3 on here, so that way it comes back to us faster. But hammer mobility is definitely one of the ones on the list of things that I really want. Now, after going through and enchanting quite a bit, we've buffed our power even more. We've got max hammer mobility. We also have density, which I was able to put on here, and loyalty and power 5, which all seems very, very powerful. I can't put sharpness on here if some of these are on, but now what I'm thinking is whenever we throw this, it should come back to us quite quickly. Oh my goodness. By the way, the density enchant should be able to scale with our drop velocity. So I don't know if this is going to work, but if I'm falling and I hit something, it's supposed to kind of work like the anvil, but maybe not. 103 damage. Okay, I don't know if that was like scaling, so I fall and then hit 103. I have a feeling that it is doing that, but that's dealing 70 damage. I mean, I know that this is dealing a ton of damage too, but wow. I now have the hammer power. With all of these things equipped, I think it's now time to face our enemies. We now must teleport to the Twins Arena, and this place is gorgeous. This is so cool looking. With everything nearby, all of the glass, it actually being daytime. This is a beautiful, there's like arms reaching out. Oh my goodness. But now, without further ado, we shall summon the bosses. And with the final item in, we need to get ready for a fight. Oh my goodness. And I do want to make sure that I try to take them out evenly.
We have chased the sun across the sky. You? You are merely appetite.
Oh my goodness, what is that?
Okay, they're going to try and split up our flank attack. Don't let them sneak out like fighting the others. They're wolves. This is how they work. They want you to tunnel vision.
What? Thank goodness I can actually hit them like this. Okay. Whoa, whoa, no, 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 no. It's, oh no. Oh, wait. No, let me out. What are these?
I taste your fear.
These are awful. I can't fly out of them either. No. Let me out. These are like awful black holes. By the way, I should be able to teleport. Okay. Whew. At least it gets stuck in there. I gotta make sure not to do that again. That is not cool. Thankfully, we have a teleport spell. There's that darkness, by the way, which I can now get rid of. I'm gonna try. I can't really hit them all that well. This one I can. So Skoll.
Run!
Nope.
Make it interesting!
Oh my goodness. Okay, so they can't be hit all the time. Trying to see how do we hit them. That's such a cool effect. There's so many cool things happening, by the way. So this is doing like nothing to them, by the way. I'm wondering if I attack them with magic lightning. Oh, that does so much. Yes. Take even damage. Skull surrounded in darkness. Only magic can break the veil. Okay.
Taste your fear!
So it can't be hit with physical damage. It has to be hit with magic damage, apparently. That's kind of cool. It is working, though. All right. So how do we know how much health each of them has? All right. I've got to teleport with a teleportation spell to get out of that. Woo! That is a lot. All right. Let's get him down. And then same to you. I think we've almost got him.
You will pay for this.
All right. He should have respawned at like full health, right? But he's now angered. Oh no. But I think we got it.
The chase
Oh my goodness.
never ends, sister.
That was wild. Honestly, that was one of the better fights thus far. Like with all of the cool effects that were happening, that was definitely up there. So one of them was taking physical attacks while the other one had magical resistances. Maybe the other one had magical resistance. The other one required magic. to be able to actually damage. That was such a cool balanced fight. And with that, we have the two hearts, the heart of Skoll and the heart of Hati. And with these two, we can combine them together to get the Eclipse heart. Oh boy. And so it is time to consume the heart. And this time, we didn't get any epic voice line, no. But we did get a bunch of points here. Consuming the Eclipse Heart has granted me knowledge of elven magic and ancient draconic technology. When this task is complete, the gates of Asgard will open. I do think the scroll was supposed to play. We do have a departure scroll, but unfortunately, it did not play. And I'm sure it will get fixed in a future update. But now we should have the ability to travel back to the Bifrost and head to Asgard as it suggested. Oh my goodness. Every time we make it through here, it's so cool looking. But now we walk the path of the Bifrost. I believe the portal at the end should lead us straight there. Oh, whoa. What is this? Oh my goodness, I am not ready. No. Okay. Is this who I think it is? This is Maladictus. Oh my. Can we deal damage with this? Oh, we can. Yes. This arena is crazy looking. This is so epic. I'm so glad I have this teleport ability, but I probably should charge, and then this will make the teleport much better. Ouch. Okay. I think we're doing good. Mjolnir, get him. I was not ready for this. I don't think. Sword is doing so much damage though, or at least it was doing a bunch of damage. I can't really tell. All right, teleport out of there for that. Yes. Ow. Who knew that they were going to be coming up against somebody with such magical abilities? Those are homing now. All right. The Cataclysm boss fights are so sick, and this arena is perfectly sized for this. We moved out of the way just in time for that. And Maladictus is gone. That is beautiful. We've now done it. We have now successfully defeated Maladictus. And so we have slain Maladictus. As you attempt to enter Asgard, an unexpected foe appears before you. Defeat them or be lost forever between realms.
The Sun Chaser and the Moon Hound fall silent at last. The key to Asgard gleams in your hand, heavy with the weight of every realm you have conquered, every spirit you have claimed. You are more now than you were when you crawled from the grave in Helheim. The stolen strength of gods and monsters runs through you like molten rune metal. You are nearly what you once were, nearly. But the serpent does not wait for nearly. The earth splits, the sky blackens, Nidhogg rises, not a shadow, not a whisper, but as a full and terrible truth of what has been stalking you since the beginning. His jaws close around you before the scream leaves your throat. Darkness. The stench of acid and ancient death, the churning belly of something that has devoured gods. You have been here before. This is where it began. Inside the corpse gnawer, swallowed and broken and spat into Helheim like offal. Your memories stir, not yet whole, but enough. Enough to know that you and this serpent have unfinished blood between you. Fight, not with the desperation of the condemned, but with the fury of one who finally remembers what was taken from them. Tear your way free.
That was epic. And so we now must have the ability to travel to Asgard. We must once more head back to the Bifrost. Now we shall try again. Try to enter into Asgard this time? Will it work? Oh my. This is Asgard. This is it? Is this what left of Asgard? Shattered spires, grasping at the sky that has forgotten gold? Bridges that once connected heaven to earth reduced to ashes and rubble. The mead halls silence as burrows? You did this. Unknowing, unwilling, but yours were the hands that held the torch. Needhogger found you and turned your strength into a weapon. Did you even know whose halls you were burning? This is not punishment. This is purpose. Stone by stone, rune by rune, you will make Asgard whole again.
It is finished. The corpse Nar's coils loosen, and for the first time in ages, the roots of the world tree draw breath without teeth at their throat. You have done what gods and heroes could not, what the Allfather could not. As Nithhogga dies, his venom tongue spits out one last truth, that you were his instrument, that the ruins of Asgard were wrought by your hands, and the serpent does not lie. Before the grave, before the forgetting, you were something else, the child of hell and a mortal man, born between death and life, carrying the blood of gods in a body the gods never claimed. You were powerful, and Nithhogga found you, whispered to you, turned your strength into a weapon aimed at the golden halls. Fenrir's chains, you broke them. The Bifrost, you shattered it. The halls of the Azure, you burned them, and did not even know whose hands held the torch. These were your sins, unremembered but yours. Yet hear me now, Half-Blood, and hear me as the voice of one who has traded an eye for wisdom and hung 9 nights for the knowing of truth. What was broken by deceit can be reforged by will. This is what remains of Asgard. Shattered spires grasping at the sky that has forgotten gold. The Bifrost in splinters. The mead halls silent as barrows. You tore this apart. Now build it back, stone by stone, rune by rune, until the 9 realms look upon these halls and remember what they were. This is not punishment. This is purpose. The Nords have woven you a thread no seer predicted. Not redemption given, but redemption forged in the fire of the frost of the blood of monsters. Take it, build it, and prove that the hand which broke Asgard is the same hand that can make it whole.
So we're left with this. All of this. This is Asgard. This is a task we must take on. These halls. What's the backside look like? Like what has happened? This shell is insane looking. Isn't that Suter? That's who that is, right? That's the fire demon himself. And thus this is Ragnarok. But I did this. This was my doing. So I must be the one to rebuild, and I must relight this forge. Asgard's forge lies cold, hungering for its first spark. A draconic ember. Forge them in the dragon forge, quenching the dragon steel in dragon blood. To craft this, we must make a dragon forge of any type, I would assume. Yes, lightning, ice, or fire. It has been a really long time since I've made a draconic forge. Well, not draconic as in from Draconic Evolution, but draconic as in from ice and fire, making a dragon forge. It's quite literally been years. So all of this means that we're probably going to have to go dragon den hunting at some point. If I plan on being able to actually craft that forge, we have to find at least a tier 4 or tier 5 dragon. And then to power the forge, we also need a dragon of our own, which means that in finding that tier 4 or 5 dragon, it needs to be a female dragon in which we can gain access to an egg and hatch our own. It is a pretty cool mechanic being able to do that all. Now, unfortunately, we can't do much here as this is all claimed by the Allfather. So for example, trying to place blocks, we can't build here. Thankfully, we can return back to Midgard and we can strive to become even better. And with just a bit more patience and a little bit more work, I think we can ultimately restore Asgard and take down that awful, diseased vermin that made me do this. Now, overall, today was pretty darn epic. Not only did we fight the twins and make our way to Asgard, but I also managed to craft, well, an awesome hammer, Thor's hammer, which is incredibly powerful and just returns back to me. And with this powerful Mjolnir, we managed to defeat those twins with ease. Now we have a job, we have a task. We must restore Asgard. And so if you've enjoyed this series thus far and you've enjoyed the storyline associated with it, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already and give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. And don't forget to let me know down in the comments below what's your thoughts on the story thus far and how everything has came to be. Now that I'm back in Midgard, it's now time for me to thank the amazing supporter that made today's episode possible. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to Goober. Thank you so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. Thank you so very much. With that, I look forward to seeing you in the next adventure. And as always, thanks for watching.